You can use different shaped gouges if you want, but it's giving me my money's worth, that's for sure. And there's the piece I was going to tell you about. So today we're going to be whittling these little pebbly sort of stone features. As it's Easter, I was thinking of the Easter Island. I thought, why not carve some of these? I know I've done them before, the larger 2x2 pieces and etc. But these are scrap bits of 1x1. So the block would have been 1 inch by 1 inch and originally 5 inches tall or whatever it would be. And I've just carved them out of what is a 2 inch by 1 inch piece that's left. Carve it along the diagonal of the block, as you'll see in the video now shortly. And a beginner can do these. Just be a bit careful of doing them if you don't know out of the scrap piece itself. But if you're going to do it at all, I would do it out of the big sort of 5 inch piece of wood and then use the bottom bit then as the handle as you're carving, okay? You can flip it the other way around then and do another one on the other side, can't you? And then just cut it through the middle with a saw. About that. Don't forget to wear your glove, and we'll get to the start of the video. Hi everyone. We've got a little block of wood, basswood. It's measuring 50 millimeters tall by 25 millimeters wide. It's the 1x1 sort of blocks. So it's 2 inch by 1 inch. I've marked a little line up here, so we got 17 mil to that point. Here. Doesn't have to be exact, but again 17 mil to there. Leaving you 16 millimeters in the middle, so you split it into thirds more or less. And this is going to be a part where the nose is going to come down to. That's the part of the nose is going to go up to. And we're going to do some little stones that they look like. A bit like the Easter Island figures. So there's your measurements. Okay. And they're just going to be using a standard little number 9 gouge. It's a file tool. Anyone would be okay though. Just make sure it's sharp. And along with that, I've got an Allen rosewood knife today. Putting it through its paces, just like all the other knives, and making sure I get plenty of use of them before I release the reviews on them. So what we're going to do is just take a little, let's do it in pen so you guys can see it properly. Going to take the corners off here and off the back there. And we're just going to sort of make the shape a little bit of an oval shape at the same time. Now this really doesn't matter too much about measuring it all of the time, because it's just going to look like a bit of a stone or a pebble with a face on it. Okay. Just run some lines just down the side, just so I can take this front and back off, so I know what I'm working to. So let's get that out of the way. Hope you're all having a great, well, by the time you see this, Easter would have passed, but I hope you had a great Easter. I was doing the bunnies and the eggs, and I thought, yes, Easter Island. I've not seen the documentary now for a little while. I quite like watching that. That's one side of it off. And there's another side of it off. really wouldn't get carried away too much on the measurements. All you're doing is making, as I said, just a rough stones which aren't even. You think about a pebble the size of your hand or something like that, or a stone that would be, I guess. So let's shape the tops up as well. So I've taken off probably about 5 millimeters off the bottom of that there. Just again, it's not going to be perfect all the way around or anything at all. And in fact, I'm going to take a bit more off the top of this. Taper that in a bit more on the top than the bottom. I'm leaving the bottom as chunky as I have because I want it to stand up, rather than put a stick through it and then put a stand on it, etc. Might be considered one for beginners, but there is a big but with it. You do need to be really careful because it's a small piece of wood. If you are going to attempt something like this as a beginner, I would highly suggest that you do it from the longer blocks of wood. So just sort of make a mark where your bottom is going to be and then use that as a handle stick. So you've got something to grip. But this is just a piece of scrap wood I've got left over, and I'm just seeing them there all the time, so I thought, well, let's make something out of it. And as I was saying, I was thinking about the Easter Island, and I thought, yeah, that'd be something different to do. You will be able to shape this any way you want in the end. But what we're going to do there now, because it's more or less got a basic shape there, what I want it to be. You can make them short, a nose coming up the centre. Let's put the centre line in there so you can see where I am. It's more or less there. So, these are going to be fake noses, they're not human shaped noses, they're just going to be a bit of a nose coming down there. Something like that. We're going to give him the eyebrows somewhere by here, so I don't want to take any more wood off that. And his mouth will be somewhere by there. Okay, so that was the measurement as to where that third of the way down and third of the way upwards. So there's his nose there in the centre of that third, and then the mouth then is about 7 millimeters down on the centre of that. 7 millimeters, I said, yeah, not 7 centimeters, 7 millimeters. Okay, just so you can see. Okay. Carry on with the knife for now. I'm just going to notch in a bit here because his nose is going to be there. Kind of will need to be a little bit on the subtle side. It's not going to have any flat or sharp edges on it. It's like a worn in stone sort of picked up at a beach that's got no flat edges or square edges on things. So we're going to go in here as well with a knife there. So you get an idea roughly what the shape I'm trying to create is going to be. His nose can come out, but I need it to be deeper here and shallower there slightly. Kind of like a human one as well, but like I said, none of it, this is going to be human-like. As such, it'll just a face, that's all. So at this point now, I'm just going to go in with a gouge. There. On the gouge there. And then I'm going to come back at the other angle. The bottom of his nose. Come in his eye socket there, leaving the eyebrow alone. Then to create the eyebrow, I'm just going to go across the top here. Coming down a little bit to give more of an expression on the eyebrow. Take a bit more wood off there now. Okay. Now let's go back in here with the knife and just roll in that knife. Give a bit more shape to that nose. Taking out any of these flat surfaces that's left of the pen. Get all that pen mark off. Any of the pen marks you still got on there now, take them off, and especially these shiny surfaces that were the actual block pieces that I haven't taken the surface off yet, because they will take the paint in differently for sure if you don't take those surfaces off. So let's give his nose a bit more shape there in the bottom. Now we're going to go around his mouth. You can use different shaped gouges if you want, but I know a lot of people will have a basic sort of shaped gouge like I've got in my hand now, and maybe a flatter one. Both of those would work fine on this. Or again, you could just use the knife if you wanted to. Just need to roll that knife blade a little bit more, that's all. Go a little bit deeper. Not much, but I don't want it to be completely obvious. I want it to be, what am I saying? I don't want it to be obvious, but I don't want it to be standing out big time, if that makes any sense. And take off any of those gouge marks there. Being careful not to take any more off the bottom, otherwise it's just going to rock over and fall over. Just taking out any of the flat edges I got there left. Now at this point, you could just leave it as it is and then get a biro and leave some eyes in there if you wanted to, just slightly, but I'm trying to leave this, it's going to be just one solid colour, or like a grey and then, I don't know, little hints of green where there might have been a bit of fungus growing on it, or not fungus, moss or whatever. Put dabs of green here and dabs a little bit of white and whatever you want, or maybe a dab a bit of blue here and there. If you're an artist, you can mix your colours up really nicely, but just a plain grey with a little bit of white in it will work fine as well. Sandpaper is going to be your friend here as well. Rolling that knife. And then when it comes to the mouth itself there, take that off. Make it come up to a single point, just by slowly rounding that off. Or if you've got one of those very small drill bits, you could use those as well with a Dremel or a standard drill if you wanted to do that. It's up to you how you create the hole. I'm not going to tell you how to create a hole, I'm sure quite easily yourself. But there's some suggestions of how I've done it. Okay. Right, these eyebrows, I'm going to shape them a little bit more by rolling that knife again. There's a slight chunk come off the top of that one, but that's okay. Wood must, yeah, there was a little bit of slither down here earlier as well. So the wood grain must have got a slight split in it somewhere. Okay, and I'm now going to go in the middle just a little bit to part them. Take a bit more off that one. So as I was saying earlier on, for beginners, just take your time. It can fall out of your hand just like it did with me then, a couple of seconds ago, 10, 15 seconds ago, quite easily. But you're not going in with a knife too hard on any of this, or at least you shouldn't be. Shouldn't be any need to do that. So you should know that knife is going throughout this project for sure. Okay. Now, I'm not crazy about forming that nose perfectly or following any rules or anything. That is all I want to do, is to where it is now. I'm going to do another one now. likes to split going up that way, doesn't it? This wood. And then once I've finished another one, we'll get a bit of sandpaper. So there's that first one. I'm just going to make another one again. Again, I'm just literally going to cut the block into somewhat of a set of thirds. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact or anything at all. Out to the back of this like that. And roll in that knife. Just so I got a base still left there. This is quite a hard piece of wood, fair play. It's giving me my money's worth, that's for sure. Rolling. Take them off. Pen mark there. Round off a bit. There. The sanding block will do. Let's go more on the top here. It's very hard at the top of this. And that's not across the end grain either. And there's the other. Get a little bit of that out to the middle. Need a little bit. There we go. My mobile. So we've got this guy pretty much where I want him now as well. I'm going to do a few of these, probably half a dozen or so. Different shapes, as I said. Slightly different features in each one. But at this point, what I want to show you is I'm going to really rub him down. Try and remember to go with the grain, although it isn't going to be a wood finish or anything like that. I'm not going to be going down to 1,000 grit or anything like that, but let's get this glove off, make it easy to hold. Again, Allen rosewood knife, really good, check him out. Just going to roll this, should have rolled it around a pen or something. I'll show you something I have got now. Friend of mine sent it to me, or give it to me. But yeah, essentially you're going to be just rubbing it all the way down, smoothing it all out. So like I'm saying earlier on, don't want to put any knife marks or flakes are still left on there or anything like that. I want it to look like a well worn down bit of stone, pebble. There's the piece I was going to tell you about. A friend of mine gave me a couple of these different shapes. You got rounds on each end, some of them have got different shaped bees on the end of them. It's a long one. And you've got little thumb screws on them. You put the strip of paper on them. Yeah, I might actually print a couple more of those. I'm pretty much guessing where I got them from, so get the old 3D printer going. 1 year old, it's new. Yeah, these were definitely a winner. Thank you, Simon. It's an electrician. Damn good one as well. Some a corker on. It was, and it pronounced that well enough time. He's quite a busy bloke, so I don't know if he's taking on any work anyway, but yeah, Loves his chainstone carvings. Didn't realise at first what he was carving, and then I thought, oh, that's really good. I think it was it a bear? I think it was a bear. Then I saw Simon next to it, and Simon is a tall guy. Jeez, it's massive things. So these are the hands, obviously. We've got their own shapes to work with. So, like I said, put towel on these. Get rid of all the hard edges. Here's one of those new one. Round them off. And change the grip if you want to. Take it down a little bit again. Like I said, I don't garnish these or anything, so I don't worry too much. Right, much very long piece of sandpaper. And for purpose of YouTube video, I'll jump ahead in time so you can see the next stage now. Yeah, cool. Half a minute. That's 400. So not going to be low on that. That's good enough for me. Right, all these people will be fine yours. You go ahead and do it and just give me the idea of something to use up. Little blocks of scrap pieces of wood. Let's tidy this down a little bit. Get a bit of paper. Soak them a little bit, like so. Just put it in your hand. There you go. Two different blocks of wood, slightly different colour, and that's what we made today. So what we're going to do now is apply some of this feed and wax. Use your cloth you use for putting wax on things. And this stuff needs to be applied quite liberally, so quite a lot of it. You need to apply quite a lot of this to these. Then you leave them for 10 minutes, and then you've got your finished products there. Well, I had some good fun making these, and I know I've got quite a few in the house as well. Hope you enjoyed them as well. Give them a go, let me know how you got on with it. And I'll just say thank you very much to everyone who's watched, especially if you watched right to the end here now. Memberships are available on the channel. Check out the details in the list below, etc. in the description. You can also do a buy me a coffee, links are there as well now. Every bit helps towards the cost of wood and electric and stuff like that. You know the stories. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Take care I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.